So we just listened to our beloved Rabbi speaking about Sukkoth. Today we're the first intermediary day between the first day of Sukkoth and the seventh day of Sukkoth. And then, as we know, we have one extra day, Shmini Atzeret. And then the rabbis have added another day, Simchat Torah. So, but here in our congregation, we always put the last few days together, the Hoshana Rabbah, the Shmini Atzeret, and Simchat Torah together. When we would roll back, we'd take the table, put out the Torah, roll it back, and get ready for Bereshit, which we will speak about next week.
Sorry, both Hoshana Rabbah and Shemini Atzeret, both those days are Shabbats, though, no?
Yes, the 2 days.
Even though okay.
Yeah, Hoshana Rabbah is the 7th day, which is a Shabbat, and the 8th day is a Shabbat as well.
Right, okay.
Which was added.
Pardon?
Which was added, right?
No, Simchat Torah was added.
Yeah, the Simchat Torah, yes.
Yeah, that's
it's after the 7th day, right?
After the 8th day.
I mean the 8th day, yeah.
Yeah, Shmini Atzeret is the one added day that God added. And they try to explain it. I know when we were Messianic Jews, we explained it that was the day that Yeshua had his Brit Milah.
Brit Milah, yeah.
On the 8th day. I don't know if that's the only way of looking at it.
It's a logical interpretation, though.
Yeah, Mauricio, do you know what the Torah says about the 8th day, Shmini Atzeret?
I'm not sure, honestly. Right now, I have a mixed thoughts in my mind. So
yeah,
but because sometimes, if I can remember, the 8th day is added for the parts of the world out of Israel, right?
Sorry, I didn't understand. I didn't understand.
Yeah. No, it is because there are many festivals that last 7 days.
Oh, I remember what he said.
Added.
Yes, specifically for Israel. That the offerings that were brought in the first 7 days were 70, added up to 70, which were for the nations. 70 represents the nations. So Sukkot is the only holiday that would be left when in the end times, we read that in Zechariah, that all the nations would bring their offerings, send ambassadors to Jerusalem to worship God at his holy mountain. But the 8th day was specifically for his son Israel. That's what I remember he taught. And and Rabbi spoke about, the idea of the 4 species, which have a teaching that's been developed, where the idea of the taste is good works, and the idea of smell is faith that comes from the love of Torah, that you develop your bitachon, your trust, as you live out the Torah. But for only those really who have it are those who really love to study the Torah. And that's not something you can make people do. You can't force people to love the Torah or to believe in God. It has to be a revelation from God, it's very difficult, because I know when I was involved in Christianity is very strong. The type of Christianity that I was very involved was very strong in evangelism, as if all we had to do was say the name of Jesus and pray a certain prayer, and our lives would be, changed. We were a new person. All the old would pass away. And then I kept wondering, so how come I feel the same? How come I do the same stupid things that I used to do? But this time I know that something did happen. I know that God did touch me, and it opened my spiritual eyes, so that when I read the Torah, I get so excited. So you have 4 types of people. just like the 4 species that we see in the lulav and the etrog. The etrog is the best. It has the taste and it has a smell. So you have good works that come out of our faith that's which is built by obedience to Torah. The opposite to the etrog is the willow. The willow has no taste and no smell. So there's no good works, no faith, no good works. Then you have the myrtle, which has a good smell, but it has no taste. So the smell again was the love of Torah, was our faith. So this person has a love of Torah. They could study and study and study and study and study, but they do nothing. They don't do any good deeds. And the other one is that was the Hadassah, and then there was we have the date palm. The date. You know, the arov is the willow.
Oh, the willow, yeah.
Yeah, so that has neither. But the date has the sweet taste, but has no smell. No, the date palm has a good taste. It's sweet, but no smell. So it's people who are busy doing good works all the time, but they don't care about the Torah. They don't. Their faith isn't very deep, but they're driven by their good deeds. So you have those 4 types of people, and he said most people don't care. Most people don't have a desire to really want to learn about what God says, and what he wants us to do. We have made our own gods. So there's so many pictures in Sukkot, the beautiful picture of the sukkah, when it has the branches on the top, so we can look up and know that God is watching over us. It's like the chuppah, the covering, and God is looking down on us. There's no place to hide. We can put on a face for each other. We can fool each other with our behavior, thinking that we're so great. Other think, oh, these people are so wonderful. But God really knows us. He knows our hearts. We can't hide, no matter what. That's what Rabbi was saying. He would lose his temper. We all saw him lose his temper. And if any of us says we never lose our temper, give me a break. So everybody, we're all equal in God's eyes, and we all lose our tempers. And then he said, what is bothering us so much? Now, I know so many people who are high anxiety right now, going through all kinds of things that go over and over and over. As soon as you get to bed, all these things start to weigh on you. What is weighing on you so much that you cannot fall asleep, that you can't be in his presence and just rest and relax in his presence? So he had a lot of good things to do. And he said, do not justify your actions. If you did something, acknowledge it. Yes, I did it. I'm human. My face is the same for everybody. I don't have to put on a face for everybody. I can put makeup on, but it's not going to change my character. So it was very good.
Yes, what about this opening sukkah teaching? It's interesting that the rabbi always it was referring that if God is looking from above,
right,
and if God was not everywhere, the Creator is everywhere,
of course.
But the main teaching, this is what I understand, and like to have an open sukkah. It's, as the rabbi was saying, that it's to be open and transparent, but we miss one important thing, and this is in order to understand, we need to look at every teaching that we read in the Torah. Everything, it's always taught in a way to give us a significance, an understanding through a story, right? So
right.
We have some concepts that we have understood, like, for example, when we refer to heavens, we refer to the spiritual world, we refer to to God's presence and God. So when we are on earth, we have building this temporary shelter, and now we are looking up. We are kind of like bringing ourselves to a much higher looking to a much higher realm, which is above. They are above. All has significance. All has meaning. And the teachings that the Creator gave us through all these teachings is so that we can understand that by removing any blockage, so we can see through, which means we are removing that part that separates from the heaven. We can see the heaven, we can see beyond, we can have more understanding about what is on that realm, that is above us, that is, it's so that it can be like a kind of, we can see each other. They can be like we can see from below to above, and from above they can see to below. So there is like a connection. There's like a kind of like a bridge, and the purpose of Sukkah, it's about God being with us, like dwelling on us in our temporal shelter. So that brings more meaningful to the entire the festival. I wrote some. I want to believe, and this is my opinion, that our millenniums have brought very important rabbis. The first millennium was Rabbi Shaul. I call the rabbis the paradigm shift rabbis. The first millennium was Rabbi Shaul, okay, known as Apostle Paul, and the second millennium was Rabbi Netanel ben Yochanan, was a rabbi president. So I like to believe that, because he's a rabbi. Our rabbi was a paradigm shift rabbi.
Yes.
That he always trying to bring us back to the reality, okay, about relationship with the Creator, no falling into the man's, traditions of following men's traditions, rules and regulations that they don't have any meaning. If you think sometimes they just puts us into a system that you have to keep, and under fear. If you don't keep it, you risk it, to be exposed. You risk to be discarded by your own people.
Can I just interrupt 1 second, Angel, because I agree with you. But one of the things you'll notice is that he did keep some traditions. He says when a tradition brings us closer to God, it's good. You could keep it.
Exactly. I totally agree, because the spirit, the Ruach, which is God, he likes ceremony. He loves ceremony, because through this,
he gave us
action, it's us putting our hearts or our desire into action, and this intent is the most important thing.
The intentions.
Intentions. But I'm not talking about good intention. Of course, there's the other side. You can do bad things, wrong things, but the intention, it's important.
Yes.
And it's the first thing. It's the first, in order, because faith is, if you have belief and you have you believe and you want to follow, you have the intention to follow, you have the intention to know more about it, you have the intention to start the relationship with the Creator. As we see this interesting teaching about the Etrog, the Hadassah, the Arov, and that it is, it describes, well, there is some sort like a man. I will say it in a different, also kind of very similar way, that there is one man who does not know God and does not want to have a relationship with God. There is another one who really wants to have a relationship with God, and and he does it in his way.
Right.
Then there is another one who knows about God, but he doesn't want to have a relationship. He wants to live his life. So you can see that there is a state in the human. There is a level where not everyone is ready to cross, or is not ready to compromise, or because you can be the most educated rabbi that knows all the works Judaism, that has studied all these medieval rabbis' works and everything that he knows is just about academia, but does not have. I'm not saying that, because when you get to that point, in any part of that life path, you have to have an encounter with the Creator. If you don't, you are totally a religious man who does not have any relationship whatsoever with the Creator.
Right.
When you study the Word of God, you will find the love in the Spirit that is manifested through the Torah.
Absolutely.
Not only, as Rabbi was saying, that the Rabbi was talking about, it's not like about this vengeance and this bloody thirst and all this, need of sacrifice. If you only look at that, but it's not that what it makes God what God is the other aspect, like loving yourself, like treating yourself as you treat others, loving the Creator, the Spirit, which has given you life,
Yes.
and also, so it really. Then I took some notes too about, and I will be finished with this also. It's interesting that it's about following the heart. I mean, having the heart and the Spirit, the one who leads, is the leading force of our lives,
Mhm.
of our doings, and not our minds. You know that? Not our minds. In the religious, it's only if this has, according to the rules, it involves more like a mind, ruling, but not a heart ruling. It's not what, okay, well, if I do this rule, I'm gonna, be I'm gonna be rude with let's say, with someone, because I don't consider his opinion. I don't. Anyway, just
It's like what we read in the liturgy. I will give you a heart. I will take the heart of stone and
exactly.
give you
And
a heart of
Zechariah,
flesh.
yeah, and Zechariah also, the portion that we read, it's interesting that only you can see, like, wait a minute, but God is not only the God of Jerusalem or in Judah. God is the God of the entire earth, the entire universe,
Exactly.
So now it's, following, also we follow the Creator Spirit, not man, and his all different religious and beliefs and rules that they were added more, and they didn't have to be there. And also that God also, Rabbi said that God did not want us to be slaves of Him,
Exactly.
but to have life in abundance.
Exactly.
And so if we don't have that, because of our rules and our regulations, and not only that, if we are creating division among our people, because of the regulations,
Right.
these regulations,
And that's exactly what's happening right now.
are not that they don't follow the divine pattern, the divine set of of laws. We call it laws.
Exactly. Thank you, Angel. Mauricio, good to see you. Do you have, how have you been? How is your life?
Oh, thank you. Well, personally, yesterday was my dad's birthday, so it was a mix of things. Okay.
Yeah.
But well, you know, I'm agree with all that you spoke. But there is something special in this week that I have been very that has been a kind of remembering, because this week these evil people were killed. Sinwar,
Shinwar.
yeah, he has been deleted from this earth, from this earth. And it's interesting that it was casualty.
By accident, it's true.
Yeah, by accident they found. They didn't know it was the Sinwar. right?
Yeah.
But it's amazing because that means something special for Sukkot.
Yes.
God is protecting his people.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one who started, there was the mastermind of last year on Sukkot
Simcha, yeah.
is killed on this Sukkot. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And that is meaningful because is God remembering us, hey, I'm covering you, I am protecting you,
Yes.
and giving a special significance for this Sukkot, that we are under his shelter,
Yes.
under his protection. And eh, and this is very interesting because also this week Pablo is right now, he went to visit some relatives in United States,
Oh,
and now he's there. But there is something also interesting this week that happened to us because they live in Washington, supposedly one of the safest cities in the world. And someone entered to the house of this relative, and they and Pablo um, lost, not his lost, but he was stolen by someone, and
robbed.
they robbed. They entered to the house and robbed,
Oh,
and one of the things that they robbed was his computer,
oh,
was his watch, and things like that.
oh no. What city was?
And in Washington D.C.
Oh,
Okay. So, and also was
House
on
robbery, the burglary.
yeah,
yeah, it was a
the
burglary.
robber. So, the point is that the police went to, to just to take notes, but
Yeah, they don't
honestly
do anything.
they didn't do anything. Okay.
No.
But at the beginning I was like, oh, with that mix of feelings. Oh, we lost a lot of things, and Paulo, his computer, now how he can connect to his class and things like that. Okay, and that is in my mind. But suddenly happened that I was reading something about the Sinwar, and then it came to my mind. Okay, you must need to show gratitude, okay, because your son was not there at the moment of the robbery.
Right.
So so at that moment I changed completely my mind,
Mhm.
and remembering what is about Sukkot. God is protecting us, and when he's protecting us, doesn't mean that that nothing apparently bad will happen to us. Okay.
Mhm.
In this case, he was robbed and also at the house of my brother-in-law. They robbed some money and things like that. Uh, but at the end, God was protecting them, okay, from evil. And this is very important because you know, when we are under God's protection, okay, he's caring about us, not our belongings, okay, not
Right.
our physical things, okay. And this is like, uh what we'll do if we start to see something terrible at our house. How many people have died, for example, because they don't want to leave their houses when there is a danger. Okay, God is protecting them, but they are so close to their things, to their belongings, that they could not get out from danger. This week, in this in our country, we receive a storm, very heavy storm, But one of the saddest saddest news that I could see is that there was a girl on her bike, bicycle, and then it came the river, and the river grew. Okay, she didn't want to lose her bike,
Bike.
and she was trapped by the river, and they found next day that death, okay, with her bike, okay. So and this is something that probably for many of us we could say, oh no, that is an example of person who really loves their things. But there are so many things that not necessarily are are physical. Sometimes we have a relation that God is providing us life, and we don't want to be under on his shelter, and then we want to to hug and keep those things. Could be a feeling, could be a relationship that is not good for us, some remembrance of our past, or some idea, some plan, some business. There are so many things that we say, oh no, God, I want your protection, but sometimes it's God saying us, hey, let this thing, this feeling, let this relation and go under my shelter.
Right.
And thinking about that is something that I believe that God is teaching us, okay. And this is the meaning of Sukkoth. Life is going to pass, okay. It's short time.
Transitory.
It's transitory, yes. So we don't have to live very close to things, to persons, to because everything is going to, even the sun one day will disappear, okay. So and I hope this message goes to everyone, especially because we need to when we decide to live under his shelter, that sometimes means that we need to left other things, okay.
Exactly. And also one of the things that we do at Sukkot is we bring an extra offering. Some people are not givers, and they certainly are afraid to give back to God. Sometimes they think, but God, one of the things that I see is when we give, God has already given us everything we need in order to give it back. So there's, we have to be able to just let it all go. And these things are so difficult for us. Our egos are so strong. But it was wonderful to listen to our rabbi. Next week we will speak. The holidays will be over, and God willing, we'll begin the Torah again, speak on Bereshit. Mauricio, are you going to start your classes again on Tuesday? Do you think you're ready for that? Yeah. So you'll let everyone know. And I'll put it back in the bulletin, and you'll do it at the same time. Are you going to do the because this week it'll be is it this week we're going to do it, or the following? Hang on a second. I think it's going to be, we'll start again on the 30th. So it'll be after Bereshit, but we can start by doing Bereshit. It'll just be after that. Is that all right for you? I can't hear you. You're on mute.
On 28th, right? Is what you're saying?
On the
29th,
on the 29th.
Yes, that's
And-
okay.
Yeah, but but
Yeah.
usually what we do is we do that
No,
the following Shabbat. But we're going to do the Shabbat before. The Shabbat before will be Bereshit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So but we'll
But
do
26 is Bereshit?
Bereshit is on the 26th, exactly.
Oh, okay. So
So
you're meaning
I'm gonna do
to-
on the 30th, I'm gonna do Bereshit.
You're back next month. Next year.
okay. So on 22, is the date you are proposing to restart the classes?
No, I was gonna, well, it's up to you if you want to start. I can't start on the 25th, on the 23rd, because it's Hoshana Rabbah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Shmini Atzeret. I'm gonna start on the 30th in the English. So,
Okay. Yes.
but
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
would
do
rather
Bereshit.
yeah, I just want to restart on 29. That will be
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, but
Okay.
but normally what we would have done in the past is we would have done Noach, because it's the,
Oh, okay.
but I don't want to start with Noach.
Yeah.
I want to go back. I want to start on Bereshit. So we're going to do it a little differently this year.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing is written in stone except the 10 Commandments. Miriam, we didn't hear very much from you. Do you have anything you want to add?
everything that was said was so amazing, and I would obviously, I totally agree with all of that. I'm just so amazed at what you said about this terrorist, one who planned around. Like, I find, people who look for proof of God, you can't prove the existence, but this comes pretty close.
But you have to understand who this Sinwar was. He was in prison. He was in prison for
masterminded.
many, many years. And while he was in prison, he had an infection in his brain.
You see a hole down on the wall there?
Brian, why are you yelling? He had infection in his brain, and they did surgery to save his life. Not only that, they did all his teeth while he was in prison in Israel.
Yeah, amazing.
And he thanked the doctor for saving his life, but then he told them, when I get out, I'm going to kill you all.
Yeah,
Even that's how evil this man was. And he was the mastermind of the October 7th massacre from
Right.
last year. And there were 1,000 terrorists that were freed for one Israeli, Gilad Shalit. That was one of the, well, that's what brought on the, anyway. So thank God he's gone. But,
Yeah.
but it was,
on Mishlei, it says that we have to rejoice when the evil man is down. Okay. So sometimes people do not recognize why we are so, I wouldn't say that we are happy because a life has lost. No,
Right.
I will say that an evil man
evil
was
has
destroyed. Evil
Yes.
man was destroyed.
Yes.
So the world will be better place right now without him.
Exactly.
Yeah, but remember that, when you choose the path of evil, you can be used. You become a puppet from evil forces. And it's
And God will
It's-
turn that into good.
even when all these things happen, because usually all these things, some of them they're planned, some of them, but to believe that one man could do all this by himself, it's not realistic. It's not.
Well, he
There is-
didn't do it by himself.
There is yeah, no, but there is you can kill one man, but then there was going to be another one who's going to be deceived also.
Of
So
course.
you're going to do this, and you're going to continue doing the same thing. So are we winning, or are we still in the same situation? The problem has to be solved. it's just getting rid of all these ideologies that they are pure evil, you know, or sometimes there are ideologies that are very, very, very also inclusive, which means you know, it's my way and no other people's way. Instead of saying, okay, what is the way of God, the way of spirit, the way that promotes life, the way that promotes, you know, peace, the a way who. But you cannot promote this with people who are already, you know, there is not opening in for like giving up all that they have learned or all that they believe in, things that they're part of could be half truths and part could be also fanatic
Well,
ideologies and all that.
that's why God sent the flood.
But
He
the only way
destroyed
is
them all.
making men to come, you know, forward and to, you know, to say, okay, where is God? God does not want to eradicate life. God is a God of life. But now there are other people that they worship or that they decide in their own understanding that their own way of eliminating people is the only way. And that has to disappear because it's not part of, I mean, it's part of the learning process among us humanity of, look, if you don't see these things happening, you will never, ever realize, oh, this is wrong. We need to do something about it. We need to stop this somehow. And I believe that, okay, there is ways of dealing with the situations, but when the things come out of control, where there is not, you know, you have seen in the Torah, there's a lot of ways that it has to be, you know, clean. It has to be cleared up, and it has to be, you know, if the people don't want to listen, you know, there is no other option. You give them the chance to say, okay, come forward and start anew again. You know, they don't want to do that. You know, when you're evil and you're representing evil, you have invested so much in evil that they don't let the light and they don't let the love of the Creator to rule their lives and to rule their hearts and to be part of all of us, you know. Oh.
All right, I want to wish everybody Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being with us, this very, very, very special community. I'm so blessed to be part of it. May God take care of each of us. May He answer our prayers. May He protect us, and may we know that we can always go to Him and to each other. So again, Chag Sameach. We continue to celebrate. We won't have any services for the end of the. We always got together, unroll the scroll, and rewound it, but we don't have that opportunity again. So next week we'll see you for Bereshit, and then the following week we'll continue with our classes. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
And let's
shalom.
continue to pray for each other.
Yes, okay.
Bye.
Bye.